Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Wooden Treasures. And today, it's just like the title says. If you ever wanted to know how to make a pen, stick around and we're going to show you how. Hey, welcome back. I wanted to make this video from watching some people really struggle making a pen. And there are different techniques and stuff that I've been using that I wanted to share. And so this particular video, if you know how to do pens and you have your own system, that's great. Continue on. But if you are interested in wood turning and you want to know how to make pens and turn them, this particular video, we're going to go step by step from the measurements to the turning to the tools that I use to make a pen. And so with that in mind, let's get started with some of the tools. First of all, I have a couple lathes. I have a Laguna 1836, but we're not going to use that one today. It's a very large lathe, and the one we're going to be using today is a little jet. This little jet, it does not have a controller. You have to control the speed with the belts, and we're going to be turning pretty quick with these. And involved in the jet, let me set that up so you can see it good. There we go. So involved with the jet, we've got the pin mandrel with bushings and the lock nut, and then the tailstock will include a live center. On this particular lathe, if you open the back here, you control your speeds, and we're going to be on like the second fastest level. We're going to be turning about 2600 RPMs, and you want to turn pins fast. That makes it a whole lot easier, and you'll cut through that wood with a sharp knife just like butter. It'll work really well. So this is going to be the weapon of choice today. It's a good little lathe and small, compact. I use this on shows to do demonstrations also. It travels real well. So we're going to be using this to turn pins along with the pin mandrel. Tailstock will be pushed up against that. Always have your tailstock up against the pin mandrel before you turn it on. Otherwise, if it kicks into 2600 RPMs, this is going to whip. And trust me, it'll take out a gouge on your finger if it's in the way. So anyway, this is going to be the machine of choice. As we continue our inventory of making a pen, first of all, you'll need a pen kit. This is a pen kit that I got from Penn State Industries. Pen kits are available on Amazon, Penn State, numerous sites, Woodcraft, all of those. Anybody who does anything with wood turning, they have pen kits, and this is going to be this what they call the Slimline series, and it will. It's a lower end pen, very good utility pen, small. The refills are readily available to change. So this is what we're going to be using today, and I use, when I'm turning, a roughing gouge. Some do, some don't. I'll do the entire pen with this tool. If you want to get into more details, bumps and curves on your pen, then you probably want to go with some other tools that allow you to do more detail. If you were to do acrylics, you may want to consider carbide. But either way, these would work on acrylics also. But this is a 1/2 inch. I don't have my tape measure. Oh, yeah, here it is. This is a 1/2 inch roughing gouge, and between those grooves, that's a 1/2 inch. That's how that's measured. It's a small roughing gouge, and this allows me to taper the ends to roll, which we'll see in the video, to roll over to the bushings and make a nice transition from the hardware to the wood, to the hardware, wood, and then to the end cap or the clip on the end. So this one works well for me for just making a basic pen with no details on the Slimline series. So we're going to be using this one and this one only. The blanks, same thing. Any wood turning store come in a couple different sizes. It really doesn't matter because the tubes, you're going to be using 2 tubes, will fit easily on the shorter one or the longer one. And we're going to be drilling holes in here just like that to place the tubes in on the drill press. And then we'll be cutting them to length according to the tube length. So you'll need wooden pen blanks or acrylic. To insert the tubes, you can use epoxy or CA glue. This is CA medium. I wouldn't advise using thin for making pens because it dries so quick, and you need to, as you're inserting the tube, which you'll see, you twist it to apply the glue all the way around the tube. And in order to do that, you don't want it to dry too quickly. So medium works really, really well for that, and that's what I would recommend use. Or 2-part epoxy, which is usually about a 5-minute drying time. There's people for CA, against CA, or epoxy with longer drying time and stuff like that. So either one works well for me. We're going to use CA glue today. But the blanks will be cut and the tubes inserted like so. And I've got several blanks here made already, so they're already dry, ready to go. So don't be surprised if we see us cutting one color and then have turn in the other, because just in the event for the video, I've already got these set up. And then as we complete the process of turning and such like that, then we're going to sand it down. I sand from 80 to 600. You want it smooth because your hands are going to be against it all the time. And from my experience, that shows people get these pens out and I've got a pad of paper there and they practice writing on it. They want it to feel good. And they don't need splinters. They don't need rough edges and stuff like that. So you want it smooth. You can go higher if you like, and that's okay. The acrylics, if you do acrylic pens, you may want to consider using the micro mesh pads, which go up to thousands. They work really well also. Along with the CA glue, just a little bit of activator on the end. Once you get it in place, you squirt it with that and it's set. And then once it dries, you're really good to go. As far as the finish goes, like I say, I do sandpaper up to 600. Then I'll use a sanding paste. This particular Axe, I also make my own, but Axe is very good. And then I'll finish it. Some people use CA glue, but I use Pens Plus. That's what we're going to use today. Pens Plus is a walnut oil-based finish with shellac crystals in it, and when you apply friction with your fingertips in that process, it melts the crystals and hardens, and you have a really good finish for that. And then on top of that, I'll put a finishing paste of some kind of beeswax Canuba from Axe on top of that, and that helps prevent from fingers, oils, and stuff penetrating any of that. So that's the materials we're going to be using today. And so we're going to go through the actual cutting, the measuring, the cutting, the drilling on the drill press. And one thing that I want to really touch base on also is, I don't know if you can see it, but the gold ring, the tubing, you want that tubing flush with that wood. And use a barrel trimmer to get that happening. If you just put it on a sander, if your tube is not inserted straight, if you're cockeyed, your pin is going to be, and then you turn it like that, and your pin will mount. You'll notice it. So it's important that you use a barrel trimmer to get a good 90-degree flush cut on your blanks. Okay, so that's enough of that explanation. A lot of this stuff will come more into play once we see it happening. Maybe when I'm turning, we'll speed the video up or not. This is not going to be a real short one, just because of that. It's instructional, so I want you to get all the information that you can. So anyway, as we get started, if you're new to this channel and you appreciate this information, how about a thumbs up and like the video, and if you'd like to, we'd love for you to subscribe here also. So without any more explanation and talking and stuff, let's go ahead and get to cutting and making a pin. All right. Okay, so we're at the bandsaw where we're going to be cutting this to length. And as you see, we get with the blank here, and these are the tubes that come out of the pin kit. And as you can see, they're both identical. So the top end and the back end of the pin are identical in length as far as the tube goes. So what we need to do is take the pin blank and measure. If you'd like to leave a little bit of space there for error, feel free to, but we're going to get it really close, and we're just going to do the other end here. Measure from the two ends, because chances are the ends are square, so we've already got one end taken care of, just like so. All right. So this is going to go away. That's waste. And this will be a blank, and that'll be a blank. So what I have here is I have a sled that I made just for making pin blanks. And you have a good 90-degree cut right here. So you'll make a good cut. Several people do these online, so I'll let you look that up. But it's just for making a bandsaw sled or table saw sled, something of that nature. The same process. Okay, so let's cut the blank. All right, off to the drill press. Okay, we're at the drill press, and we're going to use a 10 millimeter drill bit to drill the body hole for the copper or the brass tubes for the pin. And this is a pin vise, also available, probably a tool that I didn't mention that I'm going to be using. This is not mandatory by any means. You can use a regular vise if you like. I've seen people use vices, and these are available where they're magnetic and they clip into your vise, and they have the grooves that allows you to do the same thing. That's a little less expensive. You can also do it on the lathe, which we'll touch base on that when we get over to the lathe, and I'll show you how that's done. See, it's down in there, so we're just going to run that in here, just like so, and drill down the center. It's important that this travels up and down straight, that this table is not cocked. Okay, so you need to make sure that you have good up and down travel. You can put a square up here, something similar to that if it was a little bit longer, and make sure you have good travel, which that looks pretty good right there. That way you're ensured it's going to go straight down the pin blank straight. Okay. All right, let's go to the lathe. Okay, before we assemble the tubes into the blanks, your last check is go ahead and insert the tube and make sure that it doesn't stick out of the hole. You don't want it to stick out like that, because you've cut your blank too short if you did. Okay, so it needs to be fully inserted, nothing sticking out on the sides, and after that the barrel trimmer will take care of the rest of it. So you want to check those last minute to make sure they're fit, and we're good on both sides. There. All right. Now, this is about 200 grit paper. You need to take the tubes. Oh, at this point, when I'm doing this process, I usually wear gloves. This prevents the oils from your hand and stuff getting onto this, which could prevent the glue from adhering to the wood. So anyway, we're just going to rough up the brass tube, and that will give it a good surface to grab a hold of. And then we'll wipe that dust off. Okay. Wipe that dust off so you've got a good clean tube before we glue it in. Okay. CA medium is what we're going to be using, and you don't need to put it all the way over. You just want to get it started. Particularly you want it on the end, because that's the end you're going to be inserting first. Okay, so you want to have that in there, and once you insert it, you want to twist it and get it all over the tube. And once it's in there, you can give it a spritz, and that'll lock it into place. So and then it will dry. CA glue dries pretty quick. You would be able to turn this within minutes. I would give it, 30 minutes or so, just to make sure that it hardens good. Same thing, put it in, spritz, and that's how you glue blanks. And then from this step, we'll go to the lathe. Okay, so like I said, some people will like to drill the holes on the lathe themselves, and what it would take would be the jaws, and you hold it there, and this spins instead of the drill bit spinning, and then you insert the tailstock drill bit into the wood. So that's another way that you can use to drill the hole in the pin blank. So as you can see, we've changed blanks right here, just because I know these are dry and ready to go in an effort of time. And these are just standard 7mm bushings. You need these when turning pins. Each pin, depending on what style of pin you're turning, whether they be the revolver bullet type or something of that nature, they have their own bushing set. And as we insert the pin blank on here, this bushing is a measurement for the hardware that's going to fit on that. That's the same dimension as the hardware, so you'll have a smooth transition over to the hardware. So there's no rhyme or reason on how many to put here. That one looks a little bit thinner. And I put one in the middle. We'll turn it this way for now. And then I'll put a few on here and then put the lock nut. This allows, when I put a couple on both ends, this allows me to roll my gouge over the edge without bumping into anything. So it's too short. This needs to be tight. And before you do anything, this tailstock needs to go up onto that. Allow you a little bit of room and keep that snug. Okay, so with that in mind, it's going to spin tailstock, banjo set, and like I say, we're running about 2,600 RPMs, and start spinning, and then we'll start cutting. And that's it. As you can see, the transition here is fairly smooth across the bushing to the wood, wood bushing, and so forth. We're going to make this end, the top part where the nib will go into here, and then the cap will be right here. I find out that more people like, or some people like, a thicker writing portion, so this will be the part that they write. So that is complete, and that's how fast it takes to turn a pen. So now we start with the sanding, and I'm using micro mesh, and we'll just sand all the way up to 600 grit. Sanding does not take long, especially for the coarse portions of the sanding paper, because it's actually taking wood off. You just want to get it started. As you get up to the upper ends, then you start your polishing process. And there's a pen. We're going to take a little denatured alcohol and clean it. And this will get all the dust off of it. You can see the dust that comes off, because you don't want to finish it with that on there. Let that dry. Alright, we're going to take a little bit of sanding paste. And this axe in particular will take it up to about 1200 grit. It's a really good product. So that's all sanded. Now we'll use the Pens Plus. Not much goes on this at all. You're going to apply several coats of this, and then polish it, and it'll really start shining, as you can see. And that's the shellac crystals hardening, and it'll put a good little hard coat on there to protect it. I do apply it while it's running. You can, or you can stop it. Either way. You can feel your fingertips getting hot from the friction, and that's what you want to happen. You're pinching it while you're doing this. Then let it cool. While it's running, we're going to add some finishing paste, which is a Canuba beeswax mixture. Just a little bit on the fingertip to apply it. Not much at all. And that's going to give it a little bit of protection from finger oils and such like that. This is the same mixture that I've been doing for about 5 years, and I've had no issues with it at all, and people have been really pleased with it. Sanding paste, Pens Plus, and then beeswax. And there you have it. So let me get my press and we'll assemble it. Okay, so with each one becomes the assembly instructions. And we'll go over the pieces real quick. This is the tip of the pen. This is the transmission that goes into it. And there are markings on it that will show you that you'll need to be familiar with when you're pressing them in. This is the cap and the clip. This would be the center band. Let me see that. It's just the center band separating the two ends. So this is a pen press, and that's what this is specifically for. There are all kinds of ways you can press these in here, but this is extremely simple. If you're going to do a lot of pens, I highly recommend you do this instead of using clamps or vices or anything like that. This is made to do that specifically. So, like I say, these were the two ends, and this is the end right here that we wanted to make the writing in. So we were going to insert the tip into one end, and the press has a little hole for the tip to fit in, and you just set those up. So when you start pressing, you don't overpress it, just when it comes flush with the wood, that's where you stop. There you go. And you can see that's the smooth transition from that's what the bushing does. That gives you that smooth transition across there on the pins. The transmission goes in next in the same one, the other end of the tip. You're going to insert the brass end first, and there's a band. There's a metal marking, a band right here on the tip. That's what you insert to when you press. So you place back in the hole where the tip was and press the tip into that section up to that line, and that's where you stop. Right to there. Each of these pens, this particular manufacturer, they put a little wax or some kind of wax material on the tip of it. You don't want that to get into your transmission, so make sure you take that off. And you don't want it to get gummed up in there. Okay. Before you assemble any farther, you insert this pin and go ahead and check the travel of your pin. Twist and it comes in, and make sure it goes all the way in. Otherwise you press the transmission in too far. So twist it and go back. That's why that line is so critical. Go ahead and insert the band on top of it so you don't lose it. Like so. And then in this particular case, we're going to do this number here. So on the tip, you take the cap and the clip, hold it into place, place it in the press, and get it started. And before you get it too tight, you might want to rotate. If you want that clip to be in a certain position, place it and then finish your press. And there you have it. Alright, and that's it. That's how you make a pen. That's the finished product. I'll have some still pictures at the end of the video. But that's how you make a pen. I understand that everybody's got different ways of doing things, but this is just one of many. And there seen instances where people just really struggle making these pens. And just really be aware of the bushings are there for a reason. They're there for measurement. And if you were to make a bolt action pen or a firefighter pen, they have different bushing sets. You need to be aware of that. And you get those bushing sets to do that also. And they will taper. You taper your pen and it comes out even with the hardware there. So that's the purpose of the bushings. So anyway, if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you got some comments, maybe the way you do it, or maybe I forgot to mention something that you saw, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you and converse with you. And because there are people out there that, like I say, I do these at craft shows often, and within 10 minutes, I was able to teach a young boy how to make one of these, and he made his own pen right there at the show, and he was so excited when he got completed with it. So they are simple to make, fun to make, and they are always a craft show favorite, and I encourage you to give them a try. So anyway, from Middle Tennessee, I want to thank you all for joining in, and just be sure and check back with us. I know it's been a while since I've had a video out, and hopefully maybe this summer, as we wrap up the craft show season, I'll be able to do more videos and such. So anyway, keep turning, and we'll see you the next time. Thanks. Have a great week. God bless.